Hi, this is Graham Jeacocke. I wanted to talk about the real issue behind the conflict between Judaism and Christianity. Now, I want to use a visual representation of the issue, right? Okay? And it involves chess, a little bit of humour, and the police, right? So imagine a one of the roles of the police officer is to pull cars over, right? When they speed or whatever, right? So, but instead of a human, right? Imagine one of the chess pieces, right? And we have the knight, okay? And the police officer who would say to the gentleman, can you walk in a straight line? Because are you under the influence? That's what they're trying to determine. Now, if anyone knows chess, you know that the knight can't walk in a straight line. And that's the humour in the little illustration. But this is exactly the issue that is at the main root. We have the Mosaic Law, right? And 2,000 years ago, right, the people, the, the Jewish people who were in charge, okay, had particular interpretations of their law, right? Along came Jesus and he gave a different interpretation, a way of doing things. Now, let the knight in my illustration, right, be the the Jew, right, who are having problems with Christianity, right? And instead of the copper of a police officer, right, we have another individual on the scene. We have Jesus, right? Now, Jesus can look at the knight's position and say, "Can you walk in a straight line?" Now, since a we are all individual, right? We have our own way of doing things, defining words, and basically how we approach life. The law has to be able to listen to that a perspective, because if the Mosaic Law holds judges, right, then that person who thinks differently from that other Jew has the authority to a give a judgment or a sentence or whatever you want to call it. Now, when we have this knight who's struggling to see the law differently and how he could get, you see, the straight line, right, doesn't represent being drunk, right? It represents the interpretation of the Mosaic Law. You have to walk this way, right, to prove that you know the law, right? But Jesus on the scene, right, because he's a valid Jew, because God allowed individuals to be under the law, to express themselves differently. No Jew ever does. Well, that's why we have Orthodox Jews, we have Karaite Jews, we have many different classes of Jews, all contradicting one another. But ironically, they are all justified by the Jews as being Jew, which is surprising, because if that was the case, why are you arguing against Jesus? Because the Karaite Jews, even though they're low in numbers, right, they're still considered Jews. But these Jews don't obey the oral law, and they don't listen to rabbis because they believe in individual interpretation, which is ironically what Luther who did with the Christian Bible, because at the time the Bible was used by superiors in Latin, I think it was. And then was it one of the people decided, no, the Bible is for everyone. So he translated it into English. Or he got the idea that the Bible should be available for everyone, right? That's basically what the Karaite Jews are doing. They're saying, look at these rabbis, look at the oral law. They're putting the interpretation that they have in store. So, back to this illustration. Jesus can say to that knight who they're limited by their own law, like, is it, you can do two to your left and three. They can't go in a straight line on a chessboard. But here's the and the application of that in the Mosaic Law is like a turning the other cheek. That's not a I can't remember which one. Is it inferred or implied in the law? It even though it's not written, it doesn't mean that the law cannot anticipate that move. It's an unwritten law in your way of reasoning. That's what Jesus was doing, right? And Jesus would say to the knight, you're limited by your way of perceiving what your rules are telling you. Anyway, I got the ball rolling on the subject, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And any errors, you can let me know. Thank you. Bye.